Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Dr. Katika.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I presume all of you know why you are here. Okay, thank you. So I actually welcome all of the students who are here, but it's a little unfortunate. Most of your friends and colleagues are not able to make it. But it will be interesting that we go back and tell them what happened in today's orientation. So this is a very important event and it's happening at a very critical time.
Ma'am,
ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಅವ್ರು ಎರಡು ಡಿವೈಸಿಂದ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಎಕೋ ಕೇಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಡಿವೈಸಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನೋ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Ma'am, is it possible to join in one device? You are joined in two devices. Maybe that's maybe the reason it's giving an echo.
You can actually mute your
Our mic.
yes.
Okay.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Not with two instruments, so I don't think we'll have such issues further. So welcome you all again. Yeah, the thing I was saying is we have a very small and limited crowd, but it would have been much nice that if we had more students attend this orientation. I just presume that you go back to your friends and colleagues and tell them about what happened during this orientation so that we have more participation in the coming event. The first thing I would like to say is we're all here for a reason. I presume all of you know why you're all here, right? Dr. Patika should have told you by registering the registration form, you know what sort of an event it is all about. So we are going to mainly address about a situation that is very crucial at this time, and that situation is climate change. I'm sure most of you are from the science background and almost all of you must know what climate change is all about, and there are several issues that are related to it. So this training and orientation program is not only going to give you additional information or knowledge about climate change, but there are other several aspects that will be also discussed along with Dr. Pratika. As I earlier said, this is a very critical situation, and we've always been seeing that there's a lot of impact that has been happening because of this climate change, and we're seeing it day in and day out. So we've seen that in the last 2 days we have been having rains in Bangalore, and in some parts of North Karnataka there are extreme events. There is very high intense rainfall that Rajur and Bidar has not even experienced. The rainstorms and things. Anybody from Rajur around? Some students from North Karnataka?
Anyone from North Karnataka?
Okay. So at least you should know through the news that there's a very high intense rainfall that's happening in the northern part of Karnataka. So you may sometimes even link this to a part of the impacts of climate change. So we know about this situation and we need to act, and this is a very crucial stage that we need to act on this immediately. I need some inputs, so let us keep it more interactive. So if any one of you can just circulate the mic if somebody wants to answer, it will be interesting. So I need your inputs also through this talk. So all of you certainly know what is climate change and what are the impacts of it. But do you think who's got us to this situation? Who do you think has got us to this situation? Anyone?
Human activities are one of the reason.
Human activities,
Yeah.
so certainly, of course, a lot has been attributed to human activities. Uh, However, climate change is something natural. It has happened. That's how the earth has evolved. But then the accelerated anthropogenic activities that we humans have been doing is causing this problem much more high and much more intense. I agree. So human activities is one, but can I tell you are the one who's caused it? Will you, this generation can be blamed for this, what's happening?
Certainly no, ma'am. There are certain section of people who we can blame.
Sorry, you're not audible. Can you come again?
Only certain section of people we can blame, ma'am.
I agree. So not all of may be, not all of them may be contributing to the, all these accelerated carbon emissions or any greenhouse emissions, but certain sect of the people or the industry or certain sectors are mainly, causing or contributing this high events. But it's also important to know that your generation is not the one who has already caused such a high change in the climate or climate change impact that we are seeing. So it has evolved over a lot of generations. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, there's a lot of greenhouse gases that are emitted into our environment, and that is what is causing the current impacts that you are all experiencing. So what has happened in the past is the brunt of it is what you're facing today. So it's very important that we need to act. Even if we don't act now, our future generation is also going to have the same issues. So, what do you think is going to be an important aspect, in the ways of reducing or acting upon reducing these impacts of climate change? What can you as an individual can do?
Reducing usage, more usage, ma'am. Like reducing the usage of and also industries can reduce the pollution, ma'am. We can reuse the
Yeah.
more old products.
Okay. So, as I said, something that has happened in the past is what is causing the troubles now. So, we are facing the brunt of our human activities that has happened in the past. So, one of the major uh, actions that we can actually take is to educate the people about it. So, education is something that is not only limited to the students who come to a college or a school, but it should be made sure that this education has to spread to your family, friends, colleagues, or anybody who may not be directly going to a school or a conventional, college or university education. This has to become more of a common knowledge or a common information that everybody has to know about it. So will it be sufficient only if we know some information or knowledge about climate change, about facts and figures about the temperature is increasing so much, the carbon dioxide levels are so much. So do you think knowing such information would be sufficient in reducing the impact of the climate change?
I think more of behavior changes and mindset needs to be changed, ma'am, along with the knowledge. Some action has to be taken.
Certainly, I agree with you. Exactly. So it's just not important to have the knowledge, but it's also important that we act upon it. So we have solutions, but majority of them, prevent themselves from taking solutions or their behavior towards addressing an issue, it could be any environmental issues or a local issue. So their behavior towards addressing that also has to change, and also the amount of actions that they actually take on implementing the solutions is also very crucial. So this orientation program is not only going to give you the facts and figures of the fundamentals of climate science, or what can be actually done, some actions that you can take as an individual or as a family or as a community from, as a university or a college, or if you belong to a certain society, in a region or an area. So each sect of the people certainly can contribute in acting upon and reducing the impacts of the climate change so that the future is also not going to have similar impacts. So this particular orientation program is designed in such a way that your facilitator, Dr. Pratibha, is going to give you a very brief information. It's mostly very basic or fundamental information of what the science is all about. Of course, there's a basic difference of weather, climate, or climate variability or climate change. So one has to really understand what that difference is. So she'll be presenting you the fundamentals of it. Then the other presentation would be about how an individual is actually contributing to the climate or the climate change through the carbon emissions. So it's all about the carbon footprint, and the handprint exercise that you'll be doing along with her is how much of amount of carbon that you can actually mitigate through the actions that you take. So these are the two important things that she'll be doing. But in addition to that, you're all here thinking that it is going to be beneficial for you. So how exactly is this going to be really beneficial is another topic that we're going to talk about. The opportunities, the green opportunities that are available in the market. So it's just not taking good actions, but then when you also try to make a better choice, a more greener choice, so that most of you can also influence your colleagues when you go out of the college. I'm sure most of you will be graduating in a year or two. So all the opportunities that are available will also be presented through Green Job and Green Entrepreneurship presentation through Dr. Pratibha. So this is how this orientation program is being designed, and all of these topics are put together in this orientation. So I'm actually honored to present this keynote talk about this climate and environmental education program. So as Dr. Pratibha rightly said, Center for Environmental Education, along with UNICEF, is actually supporting this project. And most of the faculty members from all across Karnataka have been, it's a scaling up project that most of the faculties have taken up. And their in charge is also to go back to the universities or colleges and deliver such orientation programs to the students. And in this regards, Dr. Pratibha made this possible and organized this event today. And I presume that all of you will be benefited through this program and also take certain positive actions. And as I said, it should not just limit to you students who are sitting here, but it should also go beyond this room and spread this information. So the UNICEF intention is to make this as a global movement, so that all the youngsters come together, because these are the people who are bearing the brunt, and these are the people who will be also finding the solutions to reduce the impact on themselves. They being more vulnerable, it's important that they come up with the people who are at threat are the ones who are going to find solutions. So we can just call it such a way that you are the most vulnerable now, so you will have to find solutions for it. It's not only solutions, but then when you go out of the college, you can also be, in future you never know, some of you can be a part of decision makers also. So having the right knowledge at the right time and actively participating, and also having the right attitude towards the situation that we are having now is going to get us to a better future. I thank all of you to patiently listening to me, and thank you, Dr. Pratibha, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your guidance and motivating our youth of KLE SNC in your busy schedule, and also you're not feeling good, but still you joined and motivated our KLE SNC students. On behalf of KLE SNC management principal, we express sincere thanks and gratitude, ma'am. Thank you so much. And in future, we expect you to come to our college, ma'am, please.
Certainly.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Further, I'll continue with the slides.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
In between, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬೋರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ. I just stop that one and do some activity.
Okay, lastly we are going to do today seed ball. Seed ball, you know, right? How to make seed ball?
No, ma'am.
Okay, later we'll understand. And today we are going through today's talk will be on student orientation on climate and environment education. And after that we'll be going through workshop on seed ball, how to make seed ball, everything. We'll do that in the first floor. Okay. And whatever I'm presenting here, that is in association with CE and UNICEF. Okay. So right now in this PPT, today you are going to learn about the climate change and the basics you are going to understand. And in this climate change, you are going to understand all the concepts like climate, like what is the climate, then weather versus climate. Both are not one and the same. Weather is different and climate is different. Okay, that concept you are going to understand. Then climate change are natural causes, whether only the natural causes are important for the climate change or not, like that you are going to understand. And you may ask question, ma'am, why we need to understand all these things? Every day you eat and every day you do so many other work. Then you should also know about the climate and environment. If you do not put your mind and thought to your own climate, your own mother earth, and for your further your next generation, next generation, they won't be able to enjoy the particular environment. Clear? And totally climate will be drastically changed. Nowadays you can make good. This is March and this is not the time to rain, right? But we are getting rain and totally there are so huge changes. So you need to think about all the things. Don't think like that, why we should think about, let us focus only on our academics. No, you need to think about our climate and environment also. Then you also understanding little bit information about climate change and global warming. And little bit, wherever you feel very difficult, I'll just skip that one, not to worry. India historical climate and projections, then Karnataka historical climate and projection, and major drivers, then impacts of climate change. Okay, this overall, once I come to the end of this particular slide, you are going to understand with all these concepts. So kindly pay attention. In between, I may ask questions also. Please be with me. Okay. Then what is climate and the health? You can think about here. It is an average pattern of weather for a particular region. Okay, you are going to take this one for the particular region, not to the intent. Here climate may be different, and when you go to some other place, their climate is totally different. Climate is determined by a region's climate system. Now here in Bangalore, one climate is there. When you go to some other Karnataka, their climate will be totally different, right? So 5 components of the climate system are inella components. So first one, atmosphere, then hydrosphere, cryosphere, land surface and biosphere. So these are the 5 different major components which we can be seen in the climate system. Any changes observed in all these 5 components, we can say there is a climate change. Next, now you need to understand the difference between weather and climate. Most of the time, frequently you'll be using the terminology. Sometimes climate chanagilla, ivatin weather chanagilla. Now you need to understand what is the difference between the climate and environment. So what is the difference here? Weather and ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ what you get. Okay, that is condition of the atmosphere over a short period of time. Short period allanta changes ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, we can say that as a weather. Okay, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ Saturday there may be rain ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ Sunday ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ sun ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ತುಂಬಾ ಬಿಸಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. So ಅವಾಗ ಇದನ್ನ weather ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Only for the short period of time we can say that as a weather. Whereas climate means what you expect. What you expect in the sense how the atmosphere behaves over a long period of time and space. Long period ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ? Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So weather ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು? Short time. ಇವತ್ತಿಂದ within 24 hours and less than 24 hours. But ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ನಾನು how the atmosphere behaves over a long period of time. Long period may be for what extent?
Months together.
Be louder.
Years.
Decades.
Years.
1 month.
Years.
Decades means
10 years.
10 years.
then any other answers? 20 to 30 years. Okay, when 20 to 30 years, if that is the condition, then we can say that as a climate. Otherwise we should not supposed to say climate. In any climate ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಇವತ್ತು climate ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, we can't use that. We can use the terminology instead there weather. Okay, weather is for short period of time and climate for more than 20 or 30 years. 20-30 years continuous ಏನಾದರೂ changes ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ then we can use the terminology as climate. I hope you understood this one, right? The difference between weather and climate. So here, average regional weather pattern over decades. Okay, decades on kottidivali, but 20 to 30 changes ಏನೋ average ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು will take that one. Then climate